he didn't unfollow Diddy yet. Jeff, there's got to be a message in that, right?
Well, I'm sure that was a PR move.
While the whole world is yelling for answers about Justin Bieber, one person has gone totally quiet. His own mother. Pattie Mallette has basically vanished. No interviews, no statements, no public support for her son at all. Reports now say she quietly packed up and moved to Hawaii, keeping her head down and saying nothing. That silence is wild. And here's where it gets even stranger. Pattie Mallette disappeared right when the Diddy documentary dropped and right when that controversial billionaire list started circulating. The timing alone has people raising eyebrows everywhere, so why is she staying so low-key? Why Hawaii? And what is that key evidence people swear she left with? Stick around, because once you hear the full list of people who were managing and controlling Justin's career, you'll see just how messed up this system really is. Let's be real. The moment that documentary came out, something felt off. Pattie Mallette was suddenly nowhere to be found, and honestly, that timing doesn't sit right. Everyone is talking about Diddy. Everyone is talking about Justin. But where is the woman who was supposed to guide and protect him? That question alone says a lot. Here's what you're going to learn in this video. First, the real reason Pattie moved to Hawaii and what she may be trying to avoid. Second, we're breaking down the full group of industry figures who had control over Justin's early career. And trust me, the list is longer than most people realize. Third, we'll talk about the crucial information people believe she took with her. And finally, you'll understand how deep this industry mess really goes. But here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Before Justin could spend those infamous 48 hours with Diddy, someone had to legally approve it. Someone had to sign off and say it was okay. That person was Justin's own mother. Let that sink in. Now let's rewind, so this actually makes sense. Pattie Mallette is Justin Bieber's mom. She raised him mostly on her own after his father stepped away. She was young, struggling financially and trying to survive. Or at least, that's the story people believed for years. Back in 2008, when Justin was only 13, Scooter Braun found his YouTube videos. Scooter didn't just see talent, he saw massive money potential. He convinced Pattie to send Justin to Atlanta to work with Usher and record music. Justin was still just a kid, traveling and working in an adult industry. Once in Atlanta, Usher took Justin under his wing and then introduced him to Diddy. In 2009, something happened that people still can't stop talking about. Justin spent 48 hours with Diddy, and there's actual video footage of it. Watching it now feels uncomfortable, especially knowing everything we know today. Fast forward to the present. Diddy is now facing serious legal trouble, including prison time, and over 150 lawsuits. Some of those cases involve very serious allegations. A documentary dropped showing footage that had never been seen before, and people who were hurt are finally speaking up. And right in the middle of all this chaos, Pattie Mallette quietly moves to Hawaii without saying a single word. That silence, it's screaming. Now let's talk about Scooter Braun, because this is where things really start to feel unsettling. There's a clip from Kevin Hart hosting on stage where Scooter's discovery of Justin is joked about. Everyone laughs, the crowd laughs, but when you actually listen to what they're saying, it feels wrong. Kevin Hart jokes about it, but behind the humor is something that makes your stomach turn. And once you catch it, you can't unhear it.
I'm gonna tell you who I'm mad at. I'm mad at his manager. You, Scooter.
Watch this.
That's right, Scooter Braun.
Watch this.
Scooter is the man that actually discovered Justin Bieber. Scooter Braun was 25 years old. He was a single man living in Atlanta alone when he found Justin Bieber on the internet in the middle of the night. The middle of the night. He found a little white boy with nice hair on the internet. Sounds to me like Scooter was fresh off a dick beating session, if you ask me.
What? What?
I don't know what Chris Hansen is.
They said Scooter Braun was 25 years old, a single guy living alone in Atlanta, and that he found Justin Bieber online late at night. A grown man by himself, scrolling through the internet and watching videos of young boys singing. Kevin Hart even turns it into a joke on stage, saying Scooter was coming off a private moment and stumbled onto Justin's videos. The crowd laughs. Everyone laughs. It's treated like comedy, but if you actually watch that clip closely, the mood isn't light at all. Some faces look tense. Some people look completely blank. A few look uncomfortable, like they know something isn't right but don't dare say it out loud. Still, they laugh anyway, because that's how Hollywood works. You laugh along even when the situation should make you uneasy. And here's another detail that recently surfaced. According to a new blind item, Scooter Braun allegedly paid a Korean media outlet to take down an article that connected him closely to Diddy. The article reportedly disappeared shortly after it went live, raising even more questions about what relationships were being protected and why that information was pushed out of public view.
Everyone knows that Diddy had close ties to Justin Bieber, so it's not too far-fetched to assume that he also had close ties with his manager, Scooter Braun. But according to this new blind item, Scooter Braun paid a Korean media outlet to remove an article that linked his close ties with Diddy. Korean newspaper was forced by the manager everyone hates to remove an article they published about his close ties to the producer/wannabe rapper. And again, this is allegedly Scooter Braun and Sean Diddy Combs.
The headline said, Diddy trafficking probe puts Justin Bieber relationship under microscope as fans search for answers. Not long after that, the article was wiped from the internet. Gone. No explanation. So the obvious question is why? What was written in that article that made it so risky to keep online? Think about the pattern for a second. Scooter finds Justin. Scooter has documented connections to Diddy. And when articles start connecting those dots, they suddenly vanish. That is not normal behavior. That looks like information being deliberately buried. And this is where Pattie's role starts raising serious red flags. Because now we have to talk about her. And this part makes a lot of people uncomfortable. There is an interview where Pattie openly admits something that changes the entire story. She says she had already heard all the horror stories about the entertainment industry. She knew what had happened to kids in Hollywood before. She wasn't unaware. She wasn't naive. In her own words, she said, I didn't want him to know it was even an option to come into this industry. She admitted she tried to keep that dream away from Justin because she understood how dangerous the environment could be. She even said, I heard all the horror stories. Those were her words. But here's the contradiction. After saying all of that, she still sent him. She still allowed it to happen. She signed the paperwork. She let a 13-year-old enter an industry she already believed was unsafe. And why did that decision change? Because opportunities kept stacking up. Because major artists like Justin Timberlake and Usher were competing to be involved. And because for her, this path looked like a way out of poverty, even if the risks were already clear.
Actually, Justin is not just healthy like I prayed, but like I said, he's really talented. He's been putting up videos on YouTube, and he is now the #1 most subscribed to musician in Canada on YouTube. And number 20th in the world.
In another interview, Pattie speaks with pride about Justin becoming the most subscribed musician in all of Canada on YouTube. She explains that he had been uploading videos online and suddenly reached #1. She sounds excited while talking about how different music labels were now reaching out, competing for attention, and how they were planning to move to the United States within a week. She calls it a huge step and says, Justin has a long road ahead with big plans in motion. But listen closely to her tone. There is no worry in her voice, no hesitation, no pause. It is pure excitement about the opportunity. Her 13-year-old son is about to be placed into an industry she already admitted was full of horror stories, yet she talks about it like he just hit the jackpot. This is not about calling Pattie a villain. It is about acknowledging that she made a decision. She chose opportunity over safety. She chose potential money and fame over the warning signs she already knew about. And that choice carries weight, whether people want to admit it or not. Now let's talk about the 48 hours, because this part gets ignored. When Diddy took Justin for those 2 days, that was not a casual visit. Legally, you cannot just take someone else's child for 48 hours, especially when that child is 15 years old. Even Diddy says it himself in the video. He states, I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. That statement matters. He openly admits he does not have guardianship, yet Justin is still placed in his care. That means there had to be a temporary transfer of responsibility. That means paperwork. That means formal permission. A parent or legal guardian had to approve it. And who was Justin's legal guardian at the time? Pattie Mallette. Before Diddy could take Justin anywhere, she had to sign off. She had to agree. She had to say yes to allowing her 15-year-old son to be away for 48 hours under someone else's supervision. When you watch that video again with this context in mind, it lands very differently.
Lamborghini. And
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not. Something, everything ain't for everybody.
Diddy is basically telling the camera what's about to go down. He says they're going all out, full crazy. Justin, still just a kid, jumps in and says, "Let's go hang out. Let's just go get some girls." And Diddy responds with approval, saying, "Man, after my heart, that's what I'm talking about." That exchange alone should have raised eyebrows. Then Diddy says the part most people gloss over. He says, "Where we're hanging out and what we're doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. Can't disclose." That choice of words matters. Why can't it be disclosed? What kind of activities involving a 15-year-old are being described as something that can't be shared publicly? This is where the questions get serious. Whatever was planned, it was clearly something they didn't want explained on camera. And this wasn't random. Pattie approved this. She signed off and allowed it to happen. That signature is the detail people believe she's avoiding now. So what really went on behind closed doors during those 48 hours? No one has laid it out directly. No official answers. But one person came closer than most to saying it out loud, and that was Suge Knight. And once you hear what he hinted at, it adds another layer that makes this whole situation even harder to ignore.
One person didn't know that Puffy was Usher. Now, one person didn't know what's the saddest thing in the world is what they did to Justin Bieber.
What was that?
That's bad for you.
When he was a kid.
I hate to say that. I hate to say that because I really like Justin Bieber. I feel bad for Justin Bieber. And this wouldn't have happened if Justin Bieber came from a wealthy family. Justin Bieber pretty much came from a poor family, but the young man was so talented, and he could have been bigger than Michael Jackson.
In an interview, Suge Knight ended up saying more than he probably meant to. He talked about Justin Bieber and said, "The saddest thing in the world is what they did to Justin Bieber when he was a kid." He followed that by saying he hated even bringing it up because he genuinely liked Justin and felt bad for him. His tone wasn't joking or casual. It sounded heavy, like someone carrying information they shouldn't say out loud. Then Suge said something that really stands out. He claimed this situation would not have happened if Justin had come from a wealthy family. According to him, Justin came from a poor background, and because of that, people around him were able to take advantage of his talent. Suge said Justin had the potential to be bigger than Michael Jackson, but drugs, unchecked access, and things being allowed while he was growing up made everything unhealthy. He repeatedly emphasized that this was happening to a child. Suge continued by describing how grown men would take Justin on vacations when he was young. He specifically called them romantic vacations. He pointed out how photos would be posted on Instagram showing only one successful grown man and a very young Justin. No women, no other people, just the two of them. He repeated that description and made it clear how disturbing that image looks when you really think about it. He also said something many people already suspected. According to Suge, everyone knew what happened to Usher, and the same pattern was repeated with Justin Bieber. He talked about Usher spending the night with Diddy, even sharing the same bed. Suge described a moment where Usher rolled his eyes at him, and he said it did not look like how a friend rolls their eyes. He compared it to someone who had been hurt and was reacting out of fear or exhaustion. Then Suge made what might be his most important point. He said, "Everybody in the street know what's been going on." He explained that people know who is pretending and who is not. In his view, this pattern did not start with Usher, Justin, or Diddy. He traced it back even further, saying it goes all the way back to Michael Jackson. To him, this was never new information. It was something people knew, but chose not to confront. That brings us to Usher, who may be the most complicated part of this entire story. On one side, Usher was also a victim. On the other, he later handed Justin over to the same environment that had harmed him. Usher lived with Diddy when he was around 10 years old. He talked publicly about how they would wake up together and wrestle over frosted flakes. A young child and a grown man living together like that was treated as normal at the time. When Usher was 13, he was sent to something called Puffy Flavor Camp. In an interview, Usher admitted he went there to observe the lifestyle. He said, "I saw it and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at." Reading between the lines, he was exposed to things far beyond what someone that age should experience. Those moments stayed with him. Years later, Usher was in a position to protect Justin Bieber. Instead, he sent him directly into the same world that had already left lasting damage on him.
Bieber unfollowing Usher.
He didn't just unfollow Usher, he also unfollowed his father-in-law.
And the best man of his wedding and one of his security guards, right? He got busy.
He's finally popping out of the fog.
He didn't unfollow Diddy yet. Jeff, there's got to be a message in that, right? I mean, he unfollows all these people, but doesn't unfollow Diddy. I don't know what that means, but that's weird.
Well, I'm sure that was a PR move, because the second that he does unfollow Diddy, everyone's going to be waiting for his victim statement to come out.
Jaguar Wright has been speaking about this situation for years, long before it became a mainstream conversation. She has claimed that Diddy had been trying to get access to Justin Bieber for a long time. According to her, it did not happen until Usher stepped in, took over management responsibilities, and had guardianship. From there, she says Usher granted Diddy temporary guardianship for those 48 hours. Let that part really register. Usher had guardianship over Justin. Usher already knew exactly what Diddy was like because he personally lived through that environment as a child. And despite that knowledge, Usher still handed Justin over by giving Diddy temporary control. That decision alone raises serious questions. Jaguar Wright then asks what might be the most important question of all. She points out that Usher stepped in, managed Justin, took custody, and promised to look out for him, only to send him straight to Diddy. She asks plainly whether that sounds like the actions of a good person. The implication is clear. More recently, Justin Bieber unfollowed Usher on Instagram. To many people, that action spoke louder than any interview ever could. It suggests how Justin feels now that he is old enough to understand what happened to him and who played a role in it. When you look at the years that followed, the impact on Justin is visible. In 2020, Justin released a documentary where he admitted he first tried drugs at the age of 13 years old. That raises another uncomfortable question. Who was around him at that age? Was it Usher? Was it Scooter Braun? These are not random details. Another older clip has resurfaced that shows Justin's discomfort around Diddy as he got older. In the video, Diddy confronts Justin on camera, saying he hasn't been calling or hanging out like before. Justin looks tense and clearly uneasy. At one point, he gives Diddy a fake phone number, using 555, and it's obvious he just wants the interaction to end. Then there is the interview that many people found heartbreaking. Justin is visibly emotional while talking about Billie Eilish. He says it was hard being so young in the industry and not knowing who to turn to. He says he wants to protect her and does not want her to go through anything he went through. He says he would not wish that experience on anyone. He never names names, but the message is clear. Most recently, a paparazzi reportedly tried to ask Justin about the Diddy documentary. Justin shut it down immediately, saying not to ask him about that man ever again. He added that some things he has moved on from for his own peace. That response says a lot. He may have moved forward, but he is not forgotten, and it does not sound like forgiveness is part of that process.
Absolutely. And just your whole family. Absolutely. I'm so honored to be on this call. You know, I respect you so much. I always have, always will. What you've done for this planet, who you are and what you do for your family is something to be commendable. And people look up to you all around the world. So I just want to say thank you for your encouragement to me. Obviously, what you mean to the world is so special, but obviously to the Black community and what you're doing right now, I just want to say raising awareness for the Black community and what is happening. It's absolutely ridiculous, and what you're doing is powerful, and it needs to be said. So I thank you so much for doing that as well.
Thank you. Love you, yeah.
There's even an old clip from an Instagram live call between Justin and Diddy that really shows how unhealthy their dynamic was. On the call, Justin sounds like he's almost worshiping him. He says things like, "I'm so honored to be on this call. I respect you so much. I always have, always will." He goes on to praise Diddy for who he is, what he's done for the world, and how he shows up for his family. On the surface, it sounds like respect, but when you really listen, it feels different. It sounds like someone who's been conditioned, someone who learned early on that admiration and obedience were expected. To many people watching, it doesn't come off as natural praise. It comes off as deeply sad. Now let's go back to Pattie, because the contrast between Justin's visible trauma and her public image is hard to ignore. While Justin has clearly struggled, Pattie has leaned into the role of the supportive, prayer-focused mother. Not long ago, she posted an Instagram message praying for Justin's healing. She presented herself as a faithful parent asking for strength and recovery for her son. At first glance, it looks touching, but Justin's reaction told a different story. In the comments, he left a sarcastic remark referencing her pinky toe. It was subtle, but it landed. He wasn't buying the performance, and he didn't hide it. Psychologists say this reaction makes sense. Often, people who were harmed feel more resentment toward the enabler than toward the person who caused the harm. The reason is simple. The abuser is expected to be dangerous. The enabler was supposed to protect you. The enabler had a choice, and they chose wrong. Justin isn't angry at Pattie for praying. He's angry at the audacity. She talks about healing while being the person who signed the papers that led to the trauma in the first place. There's another pattern worth noticing. Look at Pattie's social media activity since the Diddy documentary came out. She posts about her faith. She posts about gratitude. She posts about her personal life. But she never mentions Diddy. She doesn't publicly defend Justin. She doesn't speak on the situation at all. That silence stands out. It suggests awareness, not ignorance. So why Hawaii? Why leave now? Reports say Pattie Mallette quietly relocated to Hawaii right around the time the documentary was released. No announcement, no explanation. She was just gone. Some people believe she left with evidence, maybe documents or recordings that could expose more people. But the reality may be more personal. She may be running from her own signature. She knows what she signed. She knows she gave permission. She knows she allowed her son to be placed in situations that can't be undone. And now that more people are listening, now that victims are being taken seriously, the pressure is impossible to face. She can't defend herself because there is no clean defense. So she left. Hawaii is distant. It's isolated. It's a place where she doesn't have to see headlines every day or answer questions from reporters. She can avoid the noise. But distance doesn't erase accountability. You can step away from the media, but you can't step away from your own decisions. Now let's talk about money, because this wasn't just a mistake. It was a calculated choice. Look at Pattie's old interviews. She talks excitedly about Justin's success. She talks about big names competing for him. She talks about doors opening. She talks about opportunity. She rarely talks about protection. And to be fair, her background matters. She was a young single mother who struggled financially. She worked low-paying jobs and barely got by. Then suddenly her son had a talent that could change everything. That kind of opportunity feels like a golden ticket. When powerful people promise stardom and security, it's hard to walk away. But hard doesn't mean impossible, and no amount of success is worth a child's safety. The hard truth is that Pattie saw potential wealth and convinced herself everything would work out. She believed Justin would be the exception. She believed the horror stories she'd heard wouldn't apply to her son. And Justin is the one who ended up carrying the consequences. Now let's break down the full handler network that surrounded Justin when he was still a child. First, Scooter Braun, the manager who discovered Justin online late at night and convinced Pattie to send him to Atlanta. Scooter became the gatekeeper to Justin's career. Second, Usher, the mentor who took Justin under his wing, the same Usher who lived with Diddy as a child, the same Usher who had guardianship of Justin and then granted temporary guardianship to Diddy. Third, Diddy, the man who had Justin for 48 hours and openly admitted he couldn't disclose what they were doing. The same man now facing massive legal consequences. Fourth, L.A. Reid, a major record executive tied into the same network. Suge Knight mentioned connections between Diddy, L.A. Reid, and Babyface. These relationships weren't random. And fifth, the highest level of influence, Clive Davis. Many people don't realize how much power he holds in the music industry. He helped shape the careers of some of the biggest artists ever. Diddy didn't move without approval from higher levels. Justin was passed along like an asset, like an investment, not like a young person who needed protection. And the most shocking part is that most of these people are still powerful, still untouched, still operating. One last strange detail. While all of this has been coming back into public focus, Justin has been doing Twitch streams. In those streams, he's been talking about family, values, and his mother. The timing feels intentional, like image control is still at play, even now.
Mom really did emphasize when I was little was like she would give me, we did a calendar, and like when you're a kid, if you get a gold sticker, oh man, all you want is a gold sticker. You're lit. So my mom would just, she would give me a Bible verse. It was either a day or a week or some shit.
And I would, if I did it, I would get a gold star. So I would just memorize.
In one clip, Justin Bieber talks about his childhood and mentions how his mom would give him a calendar filled with Bible verses. He says that if he memorized them, he would get a gold star. He paints a picture of a clean, wholesome, deeply religious upbringing. On the surface, it sounds innocent. But people are starting to ask why he's sharing this now. Some believe this is an attempt to soften Pattie's image by association. The idea is simple. If Justin talks publicly about good parenting, faith, and family values, maybe people will stop questioning his mother's role in everything that happened. The timing is what makes it stand out. Right when more people are criticizing Pattie's decisions as a parent, Justin starts highlighting moments that frame her as caring and moral. It doesn't feel random, it feels coordinated, it feels like damage control, and for a lot of people watching, it's not working. The public isn't blind to patterns, and this one is easy to spot. But zoom out for a moment, because this story is bigger than Pattie. It's bigger than Justin. This is about a system. Suge Knight said it himself. This didn't start with Justin Bieber. It goes back further. Michael Jackson, then Usher, then Justin. And there are likely more names that haven't even come out yet. The pattern stays the same every time. A talented child from a struggling family is discovered. Big promises are made. Success, money, a better life. Parents are pressured to sign away control. Once that happens, the child becomes vulnerable, and the people with power are rarely challenged. Parents turn into enablers because they believe this is their only way out. Managers and mentors become accomplices because they benefit financially, and the people at the top stay protected because they have money, influence, and connections that make problems disappear. As long as this system exists, nothing truly changes. More children will be put at risk. More parents will convince themselves they're doing the right thing. And more victims will spend their lives trying to recover from damage that never should have happened. So let's bring this back to Pattie Mallette. She didn't move to Hawaii just to avoid cameras or reporters. She moved to avoid facing the truth. The truth that she signed documents allowing her teenage son to spend 48 hours alone with a powerful adult who is now facing serious criminal consequences. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Pattie knew exactly what she was allowing? Or was she a desperate mother who made a decision she didn't fully understand? Should parents who enable situations like this face accountability? Share your thoughts below. This story isn't finished. More people are speaking out. More legal cases are being filed. And for once, it feels like justice might actually catch up.